Hello, everybody. We're at the UNCHAIN CEE Fintech Tour. This is an online series of events meant to bring into the spotlight each and every fintech and financial ecosystem from the region, from the Central and Eastern European region. And today we're focusing on Romania with a very insightful panel on AI advancements that are pushing forward the Romanian financial ecosystem. We have together with us Nic Balaceanu. He's the founder of Lendrise and vice president of the Romanian Fintech Association, together with guests from the Ministry of Digitalization, Raiffeisen Bank, Banca, Comercială, Română, and FintechOS. I'm going to actually let Nic take over the discussion from here and see exactly what the panelists and the topic will be for today. Hello, Nic.
Hello, hi, how are you doing? Okay, so today's panel is about AI in financial services. As you can see, we have starting guests from two banks. I'm talking about Banca, Comercială, BCR, and Raiffeisen, but we also have Teo from FintechOS. Hopefully, Marius Poșa from Ministry of Digitalization will join us soon. And I will start with our guests to introduce themselves, and then here we have Petruț, Alin, and Teo. So hello, guys. Thank you for joining us today. Excellent. I like that thumb up. I'll start with maybe Teo, because he's our single here. He's just FintechOS. He's not a bank yet, or maybe, I don't know, Teo.
No.
So just introduce yourself. Everybody knows what FintechOS does in Romania, but maybe you can tell us a little bit about what's new in terms of AI, and maybe what you are going to do in Europe a bit. So, like, a couple of minutes, please, if you can.
Yeah, sure. Hi, everyone. Very, very nice being here. Thank you for inviting me, Nic, and the rest of the team. So basically, I've worked for the last 30 years in technology for financial services across banking, lending, and insurance. I've started FintechOS with a couple of great people, and at this point we deploy our solutions across all major markets. Central and Eastern Europe is a focus market for us because it's simply a growing market. There's a lot of innovation happening, but we also deploy in Western Europe and UK, US, Asia Pacific, and so on. With FintechOS, we were kind of part of this boom of simplifying financial services, products, and customer experience since day one. I think we were born with this ideology that data is really at the core of everything that you have to do in terms of transforming, and I think that actually helped us a lot into our what I would call natural evolution of becoming an AI-enabled product management platform, where we're using Gen AI and machine learning to streamline product marketing, product creation across, as I said, lending, deposits, insurance, wealth management.
So when did you start to pay attention to artificial intelligence? It was last year, 2 years ago, or earlier than that?
No, I would actually say AI was an important factor for us, certainly in terms of applications in terms of fraud. And I look here at Petruț,
your customer. So
we were extremely lucky to be part of some of the initial deployments with George, which I believe is an amazing program and technology.
Excellent. So I'll let now Petruț to talk about George, because everybody knows what George is, not only in Romania, but in other parts of Central Eastern Europe.
More
so
than 10
Petruț,
million.
if you can introduce yourself. And
hello, I'm Petruț. I'm George Country Manager. I'm working for digital for more than 15 years. Currently, I'm responsible for the BCR customer experience in digital. And more concrete, I'm head of digital channels, and I'm taking care of George. Now, George is a platform in 6 countries from Erste Group. We're having more than 10 million customers. And when it comes to BCR, we are discussing about 1.7 million customers that are at least performing one login per month. So they are using digital at a glance. They are using the George features. We have developed a lot, and how Teo was saying, we were from the beginning in this intelligence game of the platform, because George is providing an experience. It's not a simple banking app. And we have managed to create, together with other solutions from the market, an entire ecosystem. Coming back to our topic of AI, we have touched it from the beginning. We are playing intensely, and I will speak later.
Yeah.
It's a common topic besides my colleagues in BCR and also at the group level. We are trying to provide the best experience for our customers, and we are open for new experience.
Good sales, Petruț. Nice.
I know
Excellent.
what I'm doing.
Yep. Alin, I don't know you. Actually, I don't know if we met before, but everybody knows Raiffeisen, right? So Raiffeisen is in Romania for like so many years. It's from the very beginning. So can you please introduce yourself and what you do for Raiffeisen in Romania or maybe in Austria?
Yeah. Sure. I don't think we met also. Nice to meet you, and nice to see everyone here. I'm Nedelcu Alin. I'm head of AI practice and solutions in Raiffeisen Bank Romania. We started using AI back in 2019, so long term before this ChatGPT hype appeared, so in January 2022. And when we started at the beginning, we had a small team. We were 7 people doing AI models for improving business processes. And now we are around 30 people, and we have built our own AI platform, which has around 12 AI apps, which are used internally by our colleagues in Raiffeisen Bank Romania. And we have around 3,000 regular users. So 3 out of 5 Raiffeisen employees use at least one of our solutions.
Wow, that's interesting. So now talking about how AI is evolving in banking, it's kind of tricky. For myself, I use it for like, I don't know how many months. It's my partner in terms of everything I'm, projects, projections, partners, and so on. But for banks, I think this is kind of tricky indeed, right? Because as you say, Alin, you rather use it internally. You have AI clients or customers who are Raiffeisen employees, right? So you don't yet expose it to your clients, the bank clients. It's for internal use.
Yeah, like our main purpose at this point of time is that we use it to digitalize our
internal
processes. Because internal processes, also external. Like imagine if you have this, like you want to digitalize this process, and this process requires the customer to bring some documents. You can't wait for those documents to be processed by a human worker. So in this type of situation, we use AI to process those documents, extract information, classify them, and things like that. Because at the end of the day, our main focus is to have this, let's say, to have workflows as simple as possible and as digital as possible. Because just by doing that, we will be able to reply fast.
So you try to optimize processes using AI. This is what you say. How is AI different than automation we used to have in the past? Because there are many other things that we didn't call it AI in the past. Maybe Teo, you can help him with that. So how you see that?
Look, I think my perspective is. I think because
I'm thinking of UiPath. So how AI is different than what UiPath is doing?
I think there are multiple use cases, and we at FintechOS we basically put them in 3 main buckets. One is, and probably the most important one is the bucket related with customer experience, right? And customer experience can mean, intelligent chatbots, but let's say that those have been around for quite some time. But customer experience is related with hyper personalization of products and services, and generally speaking, personalization at scale that was not possible before. So we call that AI for growth. So, apart from you can use it from you using it for internal back office support systems and automation, is how do you, offer to your customers basically a better product and a better service. So this is one area where
one bucket.
One bucket. The other is obviously related with fraud and risk, right? So fraud has been around. AI in fraud has been around since
fraud exists.
But I think specifically
digital fraud.
So customer facing, you're looking at EID verification and all these type of things that have become more and more sophisticated. But in terms of risk modeling is also important because it gives you the possibility to basically look at a broader spectrum of data and provide more meaningful ways of assessing risk. And that is super important if you're going to do, for example, small and medium business lending, right? Because those type of businesses, they tend to be very different, right? So leveraging an AI-powered approach to risk assessment rather than a rule-based one, which can be quite restrictive, it's an important thing, right? And last but not least, I think it's operations or
back office
and compliance. I think compliance, being able to stay compliant, being able to provide intelligent reporting capabilities. I think it's also an area that it's worth.
But Teo, what makes me crazy, and we see it in the market, in the open market, is that fraud. AI can generate fraud, and now we try to use AI, to detect and protect us against fraud.
Yeah.
So it's really kind of weird, right? So we are having used with viruses and breaches and stuff. But this time, my impression is that AI is hard to handle just because we cannot reverse engineering, right? So it's like AI is everywhere and it has to learn from you. But having AI everywhere in the bank, it's really kind of scary. Who's going to control that? How do you see that, Petruț? Who's going to stay in charge of AI in a bank? Is IT? Is compliance? Is HR? Who the heck is going to handle it? Because it's like a beast, right? You can
all of us, because it's not only a topic for IT. You need to have a mixed team with a couple of different skills in order to have the full picture of let's say the capabilities of the AI. You have said the frauds are performed with the help, let's say, of the AI. It's how it was also with the internet, depending how you are using the tool, how you are using the skills. So what I can tell you from our side, because we are using a lot the AI technology, we have used it internally in the bank in order, to have some improvement of the flow or efficiency. What we are trying now is to go further and to expose this kind of technology also directly to the customers. But here we need to protect our, let's say, main not capability, but value in front of the customer is trust. And when we are discussing about Gen AI, we know that it can be too creative, let's say, exactly in our domain. It's nice, but not in every use cases. And therefore, we are trying by testing, by improving, in order to eliminate as much as you can the risk of a mistake.
So you want to keep it to keep an eye on it and don't let it go wherever it wanted to go, or in the future it can replicate itself. I just read today in No Cash. But just a second, because I think we had someone from Ministry of Digitalization, and he disappeared. But going back to Alin, you said you have a team of 8 or 30, because I didn't get it right. AI specialists in Raiffeisen.
At this point of time, we have around 30 people.
30 people doing only AI?
Yeah.
Gee. How many of them you have?
I mean, they're not.
Go ahead.
I am working also together with the group on this topic, and I'm not able to say a number. But what can I say is that we are trying to teach every employee about technology and how it can be used in every job. It's not okay from a dedicated team. We are discussing for, let's say, for implementation for some use cases, but when it comes to the topic per se, we want that every new employee of the bank to start to be onboarded with the technology and to understand how his job will be changed, I don't know, in 2-3 years or maybe next year, who knows.
Yeah.
And we want to be prepared for this.
Yeah, what the impact is. They can be fired or hired, or that's tricky. But now we have Marius Poșa, I think. Hello, Marius. Can you hear us? Hello? No, not yet. Okay, let's move on with challenges. We talk about challenges. Maybe Teo, you want to add something on how you can actually, you know, there is a always changing process, so it's evolving. We talk about Gen AI, but we also started to talk about agentic AI, right? So how is that different? Because these agents, agentic AI, they started to think for themselves. Are we going to see that soon in banking?
I think we are. I mean, if I'm being honest, I think the challenge is, here's the challenge. The challenge is not the technology, right? Yeah. The challenge is that, in my opinion, the technology runs way faster than its application in banking.
Yeah,
this is creating a huge gap in the marketplace, because, you know, we see new models, we see new technologies popping up pretty much every week, and they are more and more performant. But then the conversation becomes, how do you actually apply that to your risk management, to your lending operations?
Yeah.
You know, so I think the issue is probably twofolded or threefolded. One is, we need a critical mass of what I would call vertical applications, right, or vertical solutions that you know, are established into a bank's ecosystem, right, in terms of origination, or in terms of product management, or in terms of servicing, and that are natively built with, you know, AI capabilities. Just like pretty much, you know, 10 years ago, there was this trend of cloud native core banking solution, right?
Yeah.
So we need a critical mass of vertical solutions. Then we need to have you know, a clear strategy to be able to deal with legacy data, legacy applications, right? Because just as cloud native core solutions, you know, failed to some extent to be deployed, you know, to wipe out existing systems, right? So there is an interoperability, you know, issue. It's pretty much similar with AI, the same way.
Oh, okay. So it's the same pattern, what you say.
It's the same. Like... Interoperability is key. Being able to leverage, you know, sources of data, some of them that are not necessarily modern, investing in a smart middleware capabilities are critical for AI adoption. And I would say, last but not least, is what I would call every vendor, and I'm sure every bank does, they need to have an XAI, or an explainable AI, you know, capability and knowledge, right? Because I've been in a lot of conversations, some of them in the European Union, some of them in the US, and let me tell you that no bank is going to deploy AI, you know, unless
right away,
you know, they feel like they can control it. I think you mentioned perhaps just one idea, which I think is worth mentioning. You've mentioned about deploying AI in customer-facing scenarios. For example, in the UK, where we have deployed such scenarios, is like those that area is heavily regulated by the Financial Conduct Authority. So you have to really be aware of what are the implications from a regulatory compliance perspective, and deal with them. It's a little bit risk, right? Like I've worked with both BCR and Raiffeisen, and I think they are incredibly smart and creative in a good way in how you manage risk. You go from one way to the other, the same type of the same type of regulations is interpreted and managed differently by different chief risk officers. And I think that's an important aspect of adoption.
So sorry to interrupt you guys. We have Marius Poșa. Hello, Marius. Can you hear us?
Yes, I can hear you. Yes, it's something.
That's
okay. To hear you and with you.
Right. Thank you. So we are talking here about AI. Yeah, we can hear you.
Yeah, it's working very. Yeah. The connection is very poor. I will use it like I will use it like a phone to can hear you.
That's okay.
Please.
Yeah. So we have been talking about AI in banking, and of course everybody is scared about this AI going like a beast, and it needs some regulation. And I know
no, the connection is
Minister of Digitalization, Mr. Ivan, and Ms. Can you hear us? Yeah. Okay, cool. So we are going back. It's like reporting from a football match, like I don't know. Yeah, it was like a Super Bowl. Yeah, because I was watching that at way. Now, going back to Alin, because Alin, you said you have a team, and Petruț said, well, we have to have everyone on board it because AI should be used everywhere sooner or later. And you gave some examples of use cases, and they match the buckets of Teo. When do you see AI going in front office? Is that anytime soon? Because I have friends in the States, and I remember at the beginning of AI, it was a lawyer, and he used AI to check some law, and he was disbarred just because the information was wrong. And I'm afraid, I know it's tricky. We are at Lendrise, we are also trying to do something with AI and let the customer use the prompt, but we are still scared that something will happen. So how you see that, Alin, in Raiffeisen? When do you think you will have AI in your application or a website, or I don't know, in a branch? Do you see that possible anytime soon?
It's already in branch, but it's pretty much connecting our colleague with, like for example, I'll just give you an example with ARI, Artificial Raiffeisen Intelligence, which is basically like, imagine like an application in which you can ask something about from our norms and procedures.
We have the question.
The customer relationship manager, because like even if we were able to have like around 95% accuracy in replying those questions, there is still that 5%, and that 5%, I mean, it's possible even for someone in a branch to give you a bad answer. This is something which is possible, but if the bad answer is given by the AI, at this point, it's a bit, it's a thing more tricky. So this is why we chose to have this human in the loop. And also there is another thing which I think it's important, but this depends especially on the type of loan, because if you have like a let's give an example, like a mortgage loan, where you need to have some information, you need to react with a real person sometimes because we as banks, we have I think Petruț said this before, we have this trust element, and the trust element, sometimes it's easier to be obtained when you're talking with a real person rather than when you're talking with a chatbot, even if the chatbot would give you the same type of reply.
I understand. And I think AI will, 99% for sure you'll never have it. So probably, okay, you said 95, but there are still 5%, and you are afraid that 5% can provide wrong answers and get the front office in trouble. And I fully agree with you on that. But I'm now thinking, because who said FCA? You, Teo, you said FCA because you have a client in the UK, right? FCA is different than National Bank of Romania, right? Now, do you see for internal processes any implication of the central bank, which is the regulator, or do you have to go, we say, hey, I'm using AI for this product in George? Petruț, do you see that in the future, or?
I'm seeing that because we are used to work in the same team with the National Bank, because we are preferring to have this this approach in order to sit together and to discuss the benefit of the technology. Like I was saying, we are using currently for the bank, and we are having the same experience as Raiffeisen, for example, an internal chatbot where you're able to ask questions and we are providing the answers. Because let's think also from another point of view. Until 3 years ago, work from home, it was something exotic. Now with work from home, everybody is from home. You don't, if for a new employee, he don't have the colleagues on the same desk to say, okay, look, I have a question, can you help me? So we need to provide the mechanism and the tools in order for them to understand the banking products, to understand the procedures, where to find the answers, so on and so forth. So I'm seeing this. When it comes to exposing technology, AI, and to the customers, here I'm referring to the, let's say, smart chatbots, and we have started something light for now, but we are planning this year to learn something that is going to change how we are servicing our customers and what is the experience of our customers when it comes to the communication with the bank. But like I said, we are going to make baby steps because we don't want to jeopardize from the beginning the experience. And let's be honest, for everybody, if you are going to use a chatbot from a customer, if he's replying, so let's say not bad answers, but if he's not able to solve your problem, next time you are not going to use it, and we will transform the same behavior as for calling in a contact center where you are trying to have the shortcut to discuss with an agent. We will do it the same for the chatbot. We will try to bypass the chatbot in order to discuss with somebody human. And that's why we need to sit together, like to come from the beginning with the national authority to understand what is the overlap, what is the legal framework, what should be taken into consideration in order to be on the safe side, everybody from the market.
Yeah, my question, Petruț, was, I know that when you have a product, any bank or any creditor, any financial institution, you have a product, and if it is something new, you have to go with it and present it to National Bank, right? This is how it works.
You need to inform the National Bank. And
and are you going to tell them, hey, I use AI for that?
We're going to inform them to say that we're going, for example, every important feature is before launching to the customers, we are performing a pilot phase. First, let's say with the employees, then with a wave of customers. So we were going to discuss with them in order to present the full picture, because it's not only about, we will present also the technology behind. And we had the same discussions also for cloud, Nic, when we have implemented George in cloud, which was the first application from the market. We were sitting together with the National Bank in order to make it every step in order to be compliant.
Yeah. Well, my question was, how far is National Bank? If they have those capabilities to understand what AI can do for a bank. And now going back to Teo, Teo, you have any big project, if you can mention the name or not, for the bank, where AI will take over most of the operations? Let's say that bucket, the last bucket you mentioned, there is a project like that on your map?
There are several projects, but I think operations is a very broad term, and I don't foresee that AI is going to take over.
Yeah, I thought it's easier, but if you can give a better example, that's fine.
No, but I think there are several aspects of operations, right? For example, one of the most successful deployments that we've done it in Europe, we've done it in UK, we're now doing it in the US, is enhancing time to market with
building a product.
With our capabilities in terms of product management. So basically, how that works is, instead of you working by yourself with a product team to define those products and offerings and bundles across several services, where you're using, with our latest release, FintechOS Evolve, you're using an AI-assisted interface that is able to provide you with best-of-breed solutions, or cross-pollination between them based on what you're trying to achieve. So you will be indicating the type of channels.
I like that. I mean, man, it sounds like a corporate. You're a corporate FintechOS. I see it. Okay, cool. So
I take it as a compliment.
Yeah, it is a compliment.
So that basically helps you create better product market fit and better bundles for your customers quite quickly, right? And that the beauty of it is that it is actually evolving. So every week it's becoming smarter. So as you move from one business line to another, or one customer segment to another, you're obviously being able to leverage more of the AI-backed solutions.
Okay.
That's an example that have helped even local banks like BRD improve their times to market by 10x around certain product innovations that they've done with us or without us.
Okay, now maybe this is kind of tricky just listening to you guys, but if FintechOS has a project with let's say BRD, and you build a tool that helps the product manager to create and reduce time to market and so on and so on. And Teo, you say that tool is learning, right? Who owns the intellectual property? Is the bank? Is FintechOS?
It's
how you handle that?
Yeah,
because it's very hard to separate. It's not a piece of software. It's not code, right?
So basically, how that works is that in terms of providing best of breed suggestions for customer journey mapping, or what should be included, what's not, that is entirely that service entirely trained by us, right? And when that service is instantiated into a bank, and I don't want to create the impression that it's like years ago, I made that mistake with George when I said, we are doing this for George. No, it's like, BRD is doing that, and we are helping them. They drive the strategy. We are an enabler for the strategy.
But that was in the past when you build some APIs and stuff. But today it's artificial intelligence.
No, but listen, so the way it works is like we're providing and we're evolving these AI agents in terms of being able to crawl the market, to understand better the language, the type of objectives that you're trying to achieve, and make real-time recommendation. When that is instantiated, obviously the product, the configuration, the service, the bundles, that is bank proprietary. So we do not touch that. It's a very clear line of demarcation between us providing that level of co-piloting in terms of product operations, and the bank effectively owning the products, owning the intelligence, owning the all the
it's hard to grasp this, because I'm in business in software for 30 plus years, and problem was you cannot protect code, you cannot protect algorithms, you can protect methodologies. So it's a very thin line, and you don't know exactly which is doing what. But you say there's a tool that you leave it with the bank, and it should improve by itself, and the bank using it, the more they use it, the better it will become, right? So that's,
yes, but it's not because the bank is it's supplying information. We are supplying information for it. So we're training that
in the training
each and
stage,
every
but
week.
later on it should go by itself, right? That's how we see it in the future. AI, agentic AI, it should think for itself, or it's just a dream, or it's just a buzzword like many others.
I think the elements of how agentic certain operations can be in a bank it's a topic that still needs a lot of conversation, right? If I would say, look, can you provide me with a technology that's going to streamline, my back office processes, risk assessment processes, product management processes, and help me get into the market faster? I think that would benefit 100% each and every bank out there. Right?
So I think going back to Raiffeisen, do you have any KPIs for your team? Because I know some people in your management and they have strong KPIs for everyone, which is normal. I think a bank should be efficient.
Yeah.
And so the AI team has a KPI like producing I don't know how many.
Well, we have a KPI on let's say on use case implementation. But we also have KPIs for each use case, because like at this point of time, especially with introducing generative AI, and even if you talk about agentic frameworks, which consume a lot of tokens from large language models, the cost can go really high. So you need to really be sure that the cost benefit analysis at the end of the day is positive for each of the use cases. For my team, I think we had 2 years ago, we had 10 use cases deployed, but now with generative AI, the KPI grew to it grew to 30.
Excellent.
So it's three times. But basically, we are able to deliver faster because we are using some platforms which we built in the past, and now we are reusing them for newer processes or newer document types or newer database or stuff like that.
Can you give an example of the best use case, if it is not a secret?
So I'm like for me, I found
the most interesting, the most exciting for your team.
For me, the most interesting, I think it was this one with the procedures, because I mean, I don't know how people think, but just to sell a mortgage in Raiffeisen, you need to read around 2,000 pages. So just for selling one product in PI, you need to read 2,000 pages, and with not really due to work from home, but imagine that there is also this rotation in branches, so there are people coming, people leaving.
It's a huge
the procedures are different from one. And for me, this was a very interesting use case. But on the other hand, for this type of use case, if you will be referencing the KPIs part, it's really difficult to see how the cost benefit analysis goes over time. So if I'm here to think about a different use case, which is more tangible, which has more tangible results, we implemented last year AI forecast model for ATMs and multifunctional machines, and it improved with around 30% our cash availability in ATMs. And in the same time, we saved around 2,000 euros, which we were paying as a license for this type of model from a vendor.
Excellent.
So at the end of the day, even if it's something which is really small, so it's just a forecasting model for ATMs, it can give you
a perspective
quite
where you can go from there.
And quite some benefits.
Excellent. So how is it in the BCR, Petruț? I'm not asking about KPIs, but let's take an example, because I know George is becoming corporate too, right? It's not just for retail.
Yes, we have starting to provide our corporate customer the George experience. It's only one George, but we are marketing as George Business, so fit to the corporate needs.
How do you see using AI in the corporate? Let's take maybe cash management. Do you think AI has a place or word to say in cash management for corporations?
Depends on the use case. If you are discussing about reading some documents that the customer is sending and extracting the information from those documents and provide a summary from somebody from the bank in order to take a look and to take a decision based on the customer documents, it can be one use case.
No, I'm talking about optimization of cash management. So this is more. I mean, corporate can save money.
Now I'm going to say that I'm a retail
You are a retail
guy.
guy, okay.
I'm a retail guy. I'm not able to provide the right answer.
I was just thinking, took an example, but continue.
What I have seen this use case because, like I said, my ambition for this year is to provide to our customers a new servicing model, a new type of communication with our customers, and here we have some bold ambitions in terms of let's say resolution rate precision to be able to provide the proper answer for our customers. And also what we are trying to cover as much as we can the customer needs when it comes to asking questions to the bank. And we want to provide this experience in order for our customers not to call the contact center, to go in a direct communication with us. And why we're taking a look also very on this, because we are thinking in the near future when it comes to taking a decision if you want to implement a new feature in George, it can be
you should ask AI first.
No, to integrate it only in AI and not to build anymore, let's say, the feature per se. You can switch the paradigm. Why to build a journey in terms of front-end capabilities versus to go in a conversational decision tree.
That's interesting. Okay.
Yep.
So AI will be part of the product. This is what you say?
Exactly. Yep.
That's nice. Great approach. Now, Teo, because you are serving these guys. I'm thinking of AI using a lot of computing power and a lot of energy, right? So, okay, we don't have much of quantum computing in Europe. Hopefully, we'll have soon. I was going to ask the gentleman from Ministry of Digitalization, but do you think that anytime soon these banks will need their own computing power, or everything will stay in the cloud and they don't need anything on-prem? Because how is that AI? I mean, it's going to consume a lot of power. I see my ChatGPT after 6 months together. He's really, really slow. Okay, and okay, that's with me. I pay for it, but it's not big. But when you have a bank with a lot of AI projects, use cases like Alin said, or Petruț, do you see they need computing power, or the computing power will stay in the cloud and no worries?
So Nic, from my experience, let me tell you that every tier 1 bank, like global tier 1 bank that I know has computing power, right? So not everything that is linked with AI is going to be running into the public cloud.
Yeah.
However, public cloud and public cloud adoption is an important strategy, and obviously I think we've kind of gone over the curve, so I think has become more of a mainstream. So I would say this is where I would see if you're a real tier 1, right? It's like we were discussing. I remember 2 years ago I had this conversation with JP Morgan, and they basically said they have no appetite for pretty much moving everything to the cloud, to the public cloud. Some of those applications and some of those data, they will not be able to just push them to the cloud. I think the more you become a mainstream player, tier 2, tier 3, it's obviously that you're going to rely on partnering with a technology company. I think we're seeing that all these models and technologies are becoming more and more optimized. I don't think there is a future, and it was like 20 years ago with the databases and data warehouses. You needed all those racks of servers, and probably day, some of those analytics can even run on your telephone.
So what you say, your
think
projects can stay within the normal current traditional environment of computing power, is nothing special for the next couple of years?
I think that will evolve, right? Yeah, I think that will evolve. I think that the tier ones will have their own bespoke, but pretty much anybody else will not afford to do that. It's becoming a very expensive thing in terms of research.
Yeah, so I think that's computing power is needed for research, mainly pure research, not banking. Banking is not research, right? By the way, guys, Alin and Lixandru, do you have what people like us and Teo here, you have R&D department? Do you have, is that like in banking possible to have a research and development?
George, Alin, say it, please. Alin.
If I may ask that, because you know, in Romania there are not many R&Ds, but yeah.
We don't have a dedicated R&D department, but for example, in my department, we have teams which build platforms, and the respective teams, they allocate a piece of the effort to investigate, because for example, if we are able to service the same quality with a cheaper model, then it's overall economy, which we do at platform level, and we will impact multiple use cases. So I have colleagues that work in those teams and that allocate a piece of their time to test the new models that appear, but in the context with the platform, because there are a lot of, weekly there are 10-20 models which appear on Hugging Face, and things are evolving really fast. So this is why we basically focus on researching the topics which are linked to the platforms that we build.
What about you, Petruț? You have such a R&D altogether?
George started like a crazy project. Somebody from Bruxelles, okay, this team, let us play for a couple of months and let's see what is going to happen. Currently, 10 million customers, 6 countries, so we are not able to have this kind of way of working. We need to have some structure. We don't have a dedicated team locally or the group level R&D per se without having some objectives, but what we are trying in every local squad and in central squad to allocate some time for them in order to innovate and don't feel the pressure that they need to deliver something. So every sprint in the agile ecosystem, we are allowing them to provide new ideas and to try to present new enhancements that we can take it into the backlog and to implement it.
Okay,
this is the way of doing.
So I thought agile is dead already, but you mentioned the spring. Now maybe this is like because we talk about R&D, guys. I'm asking you, each of you now, do you have PhDs with roots in AI? There is any PhD working for you, knowing and digging into and trying to develop models with an AI? Is that something like a certification, or it can be even a PhD? Because when people talk about R&D, usually talk, as you said, Petruț, there is a team, they just do whatever they want, they have to come up with something. They have a lot of time and money and so on, but who are these people? Are they PhDs? Are they developers? Are they marketing people or psychologists, or maybe I don't know. What kind of people are these people working in AI? For each of you, if you can have like 2 or 3 minutes, please. Tell us. You start first because you are very close.
Yeah,
you are closer to the technology then.
Yeah. Do we have PhD in the company? Yes, we do.
Yeah.
Are they? To be honest, I don't know if. I mean, some of them they have their thesis linked with AI, right? But PhD in AI was something that you could have done 20 years ago as well, Nic. So, in my view, I think the most important thing is for these people to really understand the customer experience, to really understand the business. As I said, I think the problem is that we don't need more language models at this point. We need vertical applications of those models and into the banking space. So you can only do that with people who understand technology very well, understand banking processes very well. They have a more of an innovation mindset, as Petruț was sharing. So I think in our teams, you would, in our case, you would see people. Some of them are engineers, some of them are consultants, some of them are marketers. We don't have a dedicated team that just it's a bunch of PhDs. It's the practicality of AI, which is the big gap in the market.
Okay, so you bankers, you have PhDs in your teams?
Yes, but I will not say per se for AI, but I can tell you how we have done it in the last 2 or 3 years. For this kind of innovation projects, is based on we are asking the teams who wants to play with this new technology without having a KPI or an OKR behind, who is interested to start playing with it, and who is interested to show us, I don't know, couple 1 month, 2 months, what can we do with that technology. So
you are more pragmatic at George. How you are, Alin, in your team? Because you are, how it works for Raiffeisen. You have these R&D guys coming and eating pizza and going out.
I have a couple of PhDs, but I don't think this is the main focus, because in my team, most of the innovation were pretty much, let's say, suggested by engineers, by passionate people, and by people that used to work abroad. So pretty much the best performance, they used to work in USA companies. And there are people with PhDs, but I don't see this as a major differentiator. And one thing that I'm pretty much on the same side with Petruț and Teo is the fact that so building a platform is just part of the implementation. So building a model is maybe 20%, putting it into production it's 10%, but 70% it's the overall adoption and integration with the process. That is the most important thing, because you can build the best model, you can integrate it even into you can find a way to the legacy apps and integrate it. But if people don't use it how it should be used, or don't use it at all, then those KPIs, then those benefits will never start to occur.
Excellent, guys. So I think we just leave like a few minutes for predictions. How do you see AI in the future, in the next, I don't know how many years, 2, 3 years, maybe? Because we have DeepSeek. No, what was DeepSeek?
DeepSeek.
I always like to call it DeepSeek because it comes from China. But how do you see? What's your prediction for AI in what you do in banking mainly and in your own company? So I will start with Petruț.
Okay, in banking, I think in the next years AI will be linked to it, every job from the bank. In terms of how you are doing your task at the desk, for, let's say, for everybody. When it comes to George, I'm having the hope and the ambition to change the experience provided to our customers. We want to keep them, to provide them relevant information and relevant insights from their financial life. And I think AI will help us a lot on this from this perspective. Nevertheless, I'm hoping that the technology and the AI will help us also in the anti-fraud paradigm.
The other bucket Teo mentioned earlier, that was the second bucket, right?
Exactly, because it's a very important aspect. Everybody is now playing and operating in the digital environment, and we need to be sure that our customers are safe and know how to consume the technology and this new experience provided by the banks, by the fintechs, by every player from the market.
Teo, how you see what's next with AI in your organization?
I think there's look, in our organization, FintechOS has been working with AI technologies probably since its inception. I think what's if you're asking, not the product, but the actual organization, I would see, pretty much everybody starting to, and we are already using AI at Space for, from finance. We had a very interesting conversation about, cash flow prediction and, AI to match, payments.
But Teo, I'm asking you, sorry to interrupt, but how you use it yourself?
We use it. Myself,
I'm
using it a lot in terms of content management.
Mm-hmm.
So it really helps me streamline and structure content, which I think is very important in my job. It's not necessarily what I say; it's how I say it and how people perceive it. So I think that is really, really helpful for me.
Okay. So you use a specific AI, or you try all of them, because there are, I don't know, many tens of them or so.
I think my
we can name a product. It is not a.
No. Listen, I'm
not a television.
Big fan of using Gemini, right?
Gemini.
And I'm just playing with it a lot. I'm using it to basically, like I said, structure my content, structure my communication. I think it's a very straightforward thing. I don't think it's the pinnacle of AI in my job, but I see my job as being mainly about strategy and communications.
Right. That's your job.
There's still a job for me in the future. 2 years from now.
Do you see your HR using AI?
They are. They absolutely are. Right. It's like in terms of recruiting, you have the possibility to just streamline that sourcing of CVs and candidates. It's absolutely usable. Yeah. Finance uses it a lot. Obviously, product managers, R&D people, in customer engineering a lot as well.
Sorry, this is my Alexa listening to me, and okay. So Alin, how you use? What's the predictions? How is going Raiffeisen here, Raiffeisen International, to use AI in the next couple of years? Because it's enough. We cannot talk about more than 2 years because we don't know what will happen in 6 months. So how do you see that? Is more than what you do today? You see it in everywhere, every square meter in Raiffeisen?
I think I'm very similar to what Petruț said. I think basically AI will become the new email. Like how we are using today, for example, the email or the say Office, Excel's, Word, and stuff like that. In the next, I don't know if it will be 2 years, if it will be 3 or more. But people that are working with knowledge, and we in banks, all of us are working with knowledge, will use AI in one way or another. And I also think that people who will not be using AI in the next period, they will become to make an analogy, they will be slow. To make an analogy, it's like someone who sends an email versus someone who sends a postcard to the Romanian posting office. This will be the difference in speed.
Okay. So, I know companies working on agentic AIs on behalf of the customers. So are you prepared maybe in a year or two, instead of a customer calling or writing an email, to have AI representation of it, so like a financial digital twin? And imagine me, instead of myself, have my own AI, agentic AI, doing business with a bank. Have you thought of that? Having AI on the other side of the desk, you know what I mean? So I see my agentic AI talking to your agentic AI, and they discuss and agree on, what kind of mortgage, what kind of credit card I need. You see that? Have you thought of that yet or not? It's for the next probably. But I don't know, Alexandra, maybe it's too long.
It's too late. And kind of go more in depth there. It was a very nice discussion. Thank you very much, guys, for joining in. Nic, Teo, Alin, Petruț. A nice conclusion, let's say in the end, AI will become the next email to kind of live.
Yeah, next that I like it very much. Well said, Alin. Yeah.
And we have always seen today that even with the latest advancements and the latest developments, there's still a lot of room for discussion and many conversations to be had. And as I said, Nic, we'll continue the discussion on this one definitely this June in Oradea. So
thank you very much, everyone. Take care.
Thank you for being here, and